Welcome back to the arcade. Now that we got Gorf all squared away, everything is working 100%. Let's play some Gorf. So let me put a token in.
Okay, player button.
And here we go.
I am the Gorfian Empire.
Now, one thing you might notice about the laser that I'm shooting, if you shoot it too rapidly, they'll never hit your target. But what's good about that is if you shoot and it doesn't look like it's going to hit anything, you can cancel it out by, say I'm talking again, you can cancel it out by shooting it real fast before it travels. Ah. Yeah, I'm getting a bad start here.
Gorfian robots. Attack, attack.
Gotta watch that getting crowded in the corners.
Gorfian robots are unbeatable. Light Stardust, Space Cadet, Gorfian Spiker on our galaxy.
Okay, I'm just getting warmed up. Okay, the thing I like about Gorf is it's really, I would say, the first multi-game, even though it's not a multi-game, but it has like 5 games built into one, even though they're really, I guess, levels or missions, whatever you want to call them. It starts out with, we'll go in here in a second, as soon as it gets past this screen here. Astro Battles. Why they called it that, I don't know, because it's really Space Invaders. All right, this is Laser Attack. Then you got Galaxians, which is a game in itself. Then you have this little Space Warp, which is kind of a neat little section to the game. And then you have the Flagship, which you have to shoot through the shield and try to hit the port to blow up the ship, which is kind of like you do in Star Wars on the Death Star. But anyway, yeah. Gorf is, in my opinion, a good, classic, and underrated game. So, let's go ahead and play some Gorf.
Long live Gorf. I am the Gorfian consciousness. Robot warrior, he can destroy the space cadet. a fire.
Not hitting nothing. Ah!
The orange crosshair space cadet.
Got caught again.
Galactic Defender you are.
Yeah,
Space
I
cadet.
know.
Prepare yourself for annihilation. Space cadet.
Ah!
Too bad, Space cadet. I am a Gorfian Empire.
Alright, let's try you again.
Long live Gorf. I am a Gorfian consciousness. Robot warrior, seek and destroy the space cadet. I am a Gorfian Empire. You cannot escape the Gorfian robots.
Ah!
Ha
Crap.
ha ha.
Ah!
Got you, Space cadet. Gorfian robots. Attack, attack.
Okay, finally. Beginning to think I was destined to be space cadet.
It will be harder, but for now, you have been promoted to space as the Gorfian state your prisoners. Prepare yourself for annihilation, space captain. cannot escape the torpedo robots.
You can see them coming and you know you can't do nothing about it.
Torpedo robots, attack, attack.
I ain't getting none of these guys. Man, they go wow. Too many crickets. Ah.
Too bad. Space Captain. I am a torpedo fire.
Okay. Can't leave it at that.
Long live Gorf. My torpedo robots are unbeatable. Torpedo robots, attack, attack. I am a torpedo fire. Prepare yourself for annihilation, space cadet. Got you, space cadet.
Yeah, you did.
Torpedoes take no prisoners.
There we go.
Nice shot, you have been promoted to space captain. You will be a torpedo, space captain.
Oh man, that was a stupid mistake.
Space captain.
Yeah, you're right. Bad move.
prisoners. Ta 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 ta. You will need a torpedo room, space captain. Light sawdust, space captain, try again. I devour coins.
Yeah, you sure do. Okay, well, I guess I'm stuck at Space Captain for now, but I'll practice. Maybe I'll get a little bit better, but, you know, I don't need to really be good at games. I still enjoy playing them. And, you know, seeing how far I can get and trying to get a little better each time. That's why I wonder if I should put a high score save kit in this. That way it would save my high score, and then every time I fired a game up, it wouldn't be like starting from scratch. You know, it would be on here and it would give me something to shoot for. So, you know, that's a possibility. I'm going to think about that. Let me know in the comments if you have a Gorf and do you have a high score save kit, and if you do you think it's worth it? Do you like it? I'm not going to use the free play. I like using tokens, so I wouldn't need it for that, but it would be nice, I guess, to have the high score save. So yeah, I'll think about that. Okay, well, let me turn the lights back on and we'll do a real quick look at the cabinet, show you the condition, and there's one change I want to make. Plus I need to put my light bulbs back in. I took the marquee lights out so I wouldn't have a glare on the screen here. And the one that lights up the area on top of over top the monitor, I took the bulb out of that too. So we got a couple little things to do, and we'll button up, put the back doors back on it, and Gorf will be done. Okay, well, we've just got a couple things we need to do to button up this project. So I had unscrewed the marquee bulbs. They're still in the game. I can get to them through the back of the cabinet here. So let me go ahead and see if I can screw those back in. They're a little hard to reach, but not too bad. And these aren't the bulbs supposed to be in it. These, I put these in quite a few years ago. These are the compact fluorescent, the ones that kind of look like they're coiled up. All right, so we got those in. Now, this I believe to be an original bulb right here. This is a, it doesn't have any markings on it, but it's supposed to be a 25 watt frosted white tube bulb here. So this one here goes in the socket right here. And this lights up this panel that's above the monitor. Okay, so we got those in. So let me flip the game on and see if they light up. And yes, they do. So we got that part done. So let's go back around the front. I want to revisit something we did in a video about well, let's see, what video was that? I believe it was the Gorf joystick video. going to revisit those lights on that lower panel. Okay, well, I'm pretty happy with the results of the marquee light. Let me dim some of the lights. And you can see it's lit up pretty good, even though we're not in the total dark here. But let me go ahead and cut the lights off. And as you can see, the marquee is lit up pretty bright. The camera makes it look a lot brighter than it is, but it looks better in real life, but it looks good. And the area right here over top of the monitor, that tube light lights it up just fine. It does put glare, the marquee puts glare on the game while you're playing, but if you get over to the side a little bit, it's not too bad. But the thing that I don't like is we replaced the bulbs down here. And while it looks good in the camera, in fact, it looks a lot better than it did the last time. Let me cut this other light off back here. So now we're in total darkness. And that doesn't look bad really, but in real life it's not quite as bright as the camera showing it. And it mainly lights up on the sides, and the middle is kind of dim. So we're going to try something different. Okay, well, the bulbs we put in here were incandescent bulbs. They were clear 15 watt, which is, according to the manual, what they're supposed to be. But they were only like, I think they were rated at between 100 and 120 lumens. Lumens is what they rate the brightness of a light, basically. So the other day I was walking down the aisle in Wally World, aka Walmart, and I found these. They're their brand, great value, and they're LED, and they're the same size tubes, although the tubes look longer than the ones I put in. So they're a little bit longer, so I'm hoping that when you put them into sockets, it's going to put more light in the middle as well as more evenly distributed. Plus, these are rated at 200 lumens, so they're just a little bit brighter. It says they're equivalent to 40 watt bulb, but I think they're only, let's see, they only use 5 watts. So they're a lot more energy efficient. And they claim, if you want to claim that their lifespan is 13.7 years. So the only thing is the appearance is more of a warm light rather than a cool light. So they may work and they may not. So let's go ahead and put them in and find out. So let me go ahead and cut the game off, because we're going to have to remove the control panel again. Okay, so we're going to have to go in through the coin door here. And we're going to have to unlatch the control panel. Alright, once again I'm going to just set it down in here. And here's the bulbs that I put in. Yeah, these are quite a bit longer. I hope they fit in there. Alright, let me get them out the package. Okay, because they're longer, the panel's going to be in the way, so I'm going to remove the panel. And I'm going to put one in. Let me see if I can get you there so you can take a look at it. Alright, let's put the first one in. And yeah, I think we're going to have enough room here. They're definitely longer than the ones I had in it here. Okay, with the control panel disconnected, we can turn them on and see what they look like. Okay, one of them came on and one of them didn't. And if I unscrew that one goes out. Either this is a bad bulb or it does not like LED bulbs. I wonder if they're hooked up in series. All right, that one's not coming on. Now that one comes on. All right, well, I guess that's a bust. I don't know, maybe one of them here is bad. I wonder how they are wired up. They're wired up in series or parallel. Supposed to be 15-watt bulbs, and maybe if they're wired up in series, would that make them equivalent to 30-watt? See what happens if I just put in one of the originals here. Yeah, that one don't come on. And they're not very bright. Matter of fact, they don't look as bright as they did. Okay, I'm going to have to think about this. Okay, if I put the bulb in this light right here, it lights up pretty bright. Doesn't get hot, but it lights up pretty bright. All right, let me try the LED bulb in here. Okay, that lights up pretty bright. And let me try the other LED bulb just to make sure they both work. Yep, well, they both work. So it must be something funky about the wiring in the Gorf. Huh. All right, I'm gonna have to look at the wiring diagram and see how it's wired up. Okay, well, I've opened up a can of worms here, but I want to get this right. It was bothering me that these light bulbs I put in here are so dim. And the ones that were in here, well, I guess when I bought the game, because I didn't put these in, were 60-watt regular household light bulbs. And they had 2 of them in here, one in each one of the light sockets. Now these 60-watt light bulbs should have been so bright and so hot that it should have melted this plastic, because these are mounted like this. I took the screws out and the bulbs are right here, so it's right next to the plastic, so it should have melted them, but it didn't. Although they were pretty bright, but come to think of it, they wouldn't be 60-watt bright, especially 2 of them. And I never gave it a whole lot of thought. And then when I put these 2 correct bulbs, which these are 15-watt clear T10 tube bulbs, put them in, and it was too dim. So I said, well, maybe it's just the way these bulbs are, they were dim. So then I got these bulbs here, which are LED bulbs. They're a little bit bigger, so I figured they would work better in here and would spread even amount of light across this panel. And these are supposed to be a little brighter, where these are like 100 to 120 lumens. These right here are supposed to be 200 lumens, so they should be a little brighter than these. Well, when I put them in, as you've seen if you watched the video, one of them came on and the other didn't come on, and it was still dim. So then I got thinking, well, why is that? Because they're 2 independent sockets. If you put the bulb in one side and it comes on, well, it wouldn't come on until you put the other bulb in. But one bulb wouldn't light, but the other bulb would light. But if you unscrewed the one that didn't light, then the one that was lit would go off. So I got to thinking something ain't right there. So I got looking at the wiring diagram for Gorf, and it's not a very good diagram. I mean, it gives you everything you need, but it doesn't show both of these light sockets. For the upright version, it only has what they call the upper display lights, and it only has 1 light socket. And then it has right here, which they call a display light, which is only 1 socket. So I'm wondering if the one with lights on it is supposed to be for the upper marquee, since it says upper display. Now the upper marquee has 2 separate light sockets, just like this lower marquee, if you want to call it a marquee. This is the display panel underneath the control panel. But like I say, in the wiring diagram, they only show 1 socket for the upper, and they show 1 socket for what they call a display light. Maybe the display light is that 1 light that's in the back that lights up that area above the monitor. And if that's the case, then they don't even have this listed on the schematic. So all I got to go on is how these 2 sockets are wired up in the schematics. And the way they're wired up, they do have a purple wire and a blue wire. Well, actually, they only list the blue wire. The wire on the other side, they don't even have a color for that. But the blue wire, if you follow it up, goes up here to the 115 volt AC input. So that would be the hot. So the blue wire is the 110 volt hot, and the other wire has to be the neutral from the AC circuit. And it is from the line circuit. If you follow it, it goes to the other one. And now they didn't indicate the center of the socket or the outer part of the socket, which I consider the center, which is on the light bulb here. You have the center contact, and then you have the screw contact. Well, I've always considered the center to be where you hook the hot to, and the screw part, which is the threaded part in the socket here, to be the neutral. And of course, I got my fingers down here on the socket. The game is unplugged, so it's no power going to the game. So just want to make it clear, whenever you're working on anything electrical, especially with 110, 115, 120 volt AC line from your house current, you want to make sure you have it unplugged when you're working on it. Okay, so if we go by that, and the blue should be hooked up to the center, on this socket right here, we have the purple wire, which is indeed hooked up to the outer screw part of the socket, and the center one here is hooked up to a blue wire, which on one side, here's the socket right here, the plug that brings power to both of these sockets. Then you have a blue wire, a purple wire, and a green wire. Now this green wire is just a ground, an earth ground, which goes to the socket right here, the metal piece that the socket is mounted on. Every component that is metal in this cabinet is supposed to have this green ground wire hooked to it. Also, when I was doing my investigating here, I found this set of two green wires has one of these screw-on caps, which I don't believe is original to the game. And then back up further in the harness, where I don't think you can see right here, it's another green wire that's been clipped. It's just, they cut it off and it's not hooked to anything. Now I believe that is supposed to be the ground wire to the control panel here. If you look at the bottom side of the control panel, here's the plug, the harness that plugs into the game harness, and it has this green wire right here, which is hooked to this screw, which goes all the way through and hooks to the aluminum control panel. And if you look right here, it's just tied around this harness, and it's been cut off. So this ground is not hooked to anything. They just cut the wire. So the control panel doesn't have its ground wire, which it should have. So that was another thing that they did. Get this back out of the way here. So now back to why these bulbs, only one of them comes on, these LED bulbs. Now the LED bulbs probably has a rectifier in it, and we know that the Spyro in here is LEDs, and this, I guess what they call cob LEDs, is a whole line of LEDs all the way up this thing to make it look like it's a filament that lights up. Well, it's powered off of AC, but like I say, it's got a diode in here that rectifies it to DC. So if the socket, I guess, maybe if it's not hooked up correctly, no, it shouldn't matter which way this is hooked up. The problem is the way they got it wired up. They done changed the wiring on this, and they have it hooked up in series. So in other words, they got the hot, which is the blue wire, coming into the socket. It runs through the center of the bulb, runs through the filament, runs back through this outer part, which connects to another wire, which runs over to the other socket, which hooks into one side of the socket, which makes contact through the bulb, and then makes this other contact out of the other end of the socket and back to the neutral. So in other words, they wired it up in a series circuit. And I've drawn this up here. I hope you can see it. So in other words, this is the plug right here. That's representing that plug where you got your power wires coming out of it. In the center you got a green, which is the earth ground, which I've just got it represented by this ground emblem right here, schematics emblem. And the blue wire is the 110 volt AC hot. And what they've done is they run the blue wire around here to one side of the socket. It travels through the bulb back to the center of the socket, out of the socket, back over to the center of this socket, through the filament of the bulb, back out the outer part of the socket, and back up to the purple wire, which is the neutral, which makes a complete circuit. And what they've done, they done reversed the center and the outer jacket on one of the sockets. So that's why when you put one bulb in, you have to have the other bulb to make a complete circuit. But if you unplug one, but only one lights up. Yeah, only one bulb won't light up, but you still have to have it in to complete the circuit. So anyway, that's because they've got it wired up in series. What I want to do is put it back to where I think it should be, in a parallel circuit. So this is how I'm going to wire it up. And the blue hot wire should go down, let's see, yeah, the blue hot wire should go down to the center terminal to the bulb on the socket, and another blue wire should connect to that terminal and run over to the other socket and also connect to the center of the bulb in the socket. Okay, and that's the hot circuit. All right, the purple neutral wire should come in to the socket on the outer part of the socket, or the screw terminal part of the bulb, and then should have another jumper wire from there running over to the other socket, which also hooks up to the outer screw terminal on the socket. And that's how it should be hooked up. When you hook it up this way, it doesn't matter whether you got one bulb in or two bulbs in. If you can put one bulb in and it'll light, you can put the other bulb in and it'll light, you can put both of them in and they'll light, and both bulbs will light at the same intensity. It'll be just like they're independent of each other. Whereas if you have regular incandescent bulbs hooked into the series, and not the LED bulbs, the LED bulbs is a little different, but if you got these wired up in series, like we had the 60 watt bulbs was in there, okay, the juice has to run through the first bulb and through the second bulb in order to complete the circuit. So if one bulb blows out, none of them light. If this bulb blows out and this one's good, this one is not going to work. Neither one of them will work, and vice versa. If this one blows out and that's good, that's still not going to work, because that blown out filament is going to cut the circuit and you won't get any power over to the other bulb. Now, when you hook them up in series like this, the incandescent bulb because you're adding resistance into that line. The more bulbs you add into this line, if you were to cut this line and add another bulb here and cut it and add another bulb here in series, every time you add a bulb, all the bulbs will get dimmer. And that's why I think they wired it up into series, was so that they could use these 60-watt bulbs, and the bulbs would be dim and wouldn't put off heat that would destroy this plexi. Probably because back in the day, the operator was either too cheap to buy the correct bulbs to go in it, or maybe he couldn't find these bulbs. And he just had to use what he had, and he had to, you know, make do with what he had. And this was an alternative to where he could use those bigger bulbs and do the same thing as, you know, the original bulbs. So that's the only explanation I have. I don't know. If anybody else has any thoughts on maybe why somebody would change this, or am I wrong? Is this the way it's supposed to be wired up? I don't think so, because you have to do a little detective work, and that's what I've kind of done here. All right, if you look at this, let me zoom you in here. And we're going to go to this socket right here. All right, here is the power plug, and here is the purple wire coming out of the power plug, and the purple wire goes down to this terminal on the bulb socket right here, and this terminal is hooked up to the outer screw terminal, which is supposed to be, because that's neutral. All right, if you look very close right here, you can see where they clipped off another purple wire. So that originally, this is an original connector right here. You can tell by how clean the solder is and everything. All they did was clip that purple wire. And there's no evidence of any purple wire on the other socket on the other side here. But on this terminal right here, which is the terminal where the purple wire should be, they got a blue wire on it. And I don't know if you can pick this up in the camera. But you can see where there was a wire soldered on here and it's been clipped off. Now on this end there's no insulation left on it, so I don't know if that was a purple wire, but that should have been the purple wire. So I think what they did was they clipped the purple wire completely out of the circuit, and they added this blue wire, and that's what they did to wire it up in series. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, since the purple wire is gone and I don't have any purple wire of this gauge, this blue wire is good enough, and I think I'll be able to use this blue wire in place of the purple wire and switch these terminals around where they got them backwards and put it back in its original configuration. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be back. Okay, just as a little note I'm going to stick in here, I did do a search on Google and found a post where somebody posted for sale a set of these light sockets with the complete wiring harness, and they had a real nice picture of the light sockets and the wiring harness. And I'll put a picture in right here now, and the picture confirms what I suspected, that the wiring, these two lights were wired in parallel. And if you can see in the picture, the light on the left hand side has the two purple wires, and the two wires run over to the light on the right. So you got a purple and a blue that run over to the light on the right, and the purple and blue from the power plug run to the the light on the left. So I got it hooked back up exactly to factory specifications. So I just wanted to add that in there. Okay, well, I got them wired back up to where I think they originally should have been. I was kind of wrong. I had to add that purple wire back. They clipped the purple wire out and just switched the wires around so that they didn't need that extra wire to hook it up in series. But to hook it back up in parallel, I had to add that wire back. I didn't have any purple wire, so I had to use black wire, but that'll work. So let me go ahead and put this back together. Get it lined up here. Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and put this back together, and when I get it all back, I'll come back and we'll put the bulbs in it and we'll see if we got a success. Okay, well, we got them all wired up, got it all back together, and we put the LED bulbs in there, and so far I like what I see. But yeah, now both of them are lit up. If they're not hot, they've been on for probably about 5 minutes now. I can touch them. They're a little warm, and if you unscrew one, the other stays lit. Unscrew the other one. Yeah, this is just barely warm. Unscrew that one stays lit. So they are hooked up the way that they were intended to be hooked up. And I did try the originals in there, and the originals look fine too, but I decided since these were a little bit longer and they seem to light up the panel more evener, I'm going to leave them in there. Now I'm going to put the control panel back on, and when I come back, I'll turn the lights out and we'll see what it looks like with the lights out. Okay, well, I got all the lights off. All the light bulbs are in place, the marquee, the back panel, and the lower panel. Now that lower panel puts out a lot of light. I never really realized this, but underneath this panel, this is clear. I don't know if you can see it. But this is clear so that the bulbs shine down onto the coin door and right in front of the game. I mean, that's lit up pretty good. That's the floor. All the lights are off in here, so the only light that's being put out is the lights from Gorf, from that lower panel with those LED bulbs in it. Now, if you didn't want so much light there, I guess you could put the original 15-watt bulbs back in. It'd be a little dimmer, because like I say, the original bulbs are around 100 to 120 lumens, and these are 200 lumens. So, but what I like about it is they give even light across the whole panel, so even the middle of the panel is illuminated. So, and it brings out the colors pretty good. I was a little worried that soft white was going to be a little on the, you know, yellowish, sort of dimmer side, but Not at all. I think it looks pretty good. So, all right. We got all the lights working now and wired up like they should be. So that's one less thing. Okay, well, let's go ahead and put the back doors on. I'll start with the bottom door here. Okay. Now, get the top door. Okay. Now, it's the first time in a while that the back doors have been on the game. So the Gorf is finished, all done and back together. Let's do a quick little walk around and then we'll finish up the video. Okay, well here's the right side. And like I say, this is all original. It could stand to be cleaned a little bit. It's been a while since it's been cleaned. The side art does have some scratches. There's a pretty good little scratch right there. Little scratch right there. A couple little scratches right there. Usual amount that you'll see from a game this age, but still not bad. Got a little bit of wear right here from where people like to put their hands when they're playing or watching somebody play the game. That could be cleaned up with a magic eraser, but it's patina. I like my games to have original patina, so that doesn't bother me. That just gives the game character, in my opinion. And of course the back doors are all original paint. It's got the speckled paint on it from the factory. Still got most of the stickers on it. I should have showed the inside, but the inside's got regular stickers too. I used to have two pieces of angle bar here. I'm pretty sure so that they could, it probably either had a place in it where you could put a padlock, or it had to have something. It may have even covered up the lock here, I don't know. But I've seen this on other games. As a matter of fact, over here on my Asteroids, which is my Star Trek conversion, it's got one of those on it right here. Big piece of angle bar, and the back door had a matching piece of angle bar and had holes lined up where they had a padlock through it. So a lot of games back in the day had these. I don't know if they were factory or if the operator put them on there, but they did a pretty good job on this one. So, but they put enough screws in it to deter anybody from trying to get it loose. That's for sure. But anyway, okay. The game I put all my games on wheels so I can roll them around easily. Okay, and here's the front. Of course, I've got the power off right now because of rolling it around. This is the original control panel. It has its little areas, a few little nicks and scratches, surface scratches, but nothing is really wore off of it. And the lower panel, light panel, looks good. Now, somebody did back in the day when I got it, they had this kind of on free play, and right here they put a hole in the bottom of this plexi and had a button here for free play, and that's where it is, right there over top the coin door. in the plexi, but you can't see it. It hides it, so no big deal. This is the original coin door, and as you can see, it too is also in very nice condition for its age. And this looks like it has factory holes here. It actually has blind nuts behind these right here, so that I guess you can put some type of a guard or some type of lock bar across here. But I don't think anything was ever put on this game. But I believe they look like factory, made in at the factory. So I don't know. Maybe if you got a Gorf, does yours have those? Maybe some of them had them and some didn't. If an operator put them in, he did a mighty good job. It looks factory anyway. Okay, so let's go around to the left side here. Now, this side has more patina on here where people put their hands. You can see this on a lot of Pac-Man cabinets too, but it's mainly, I don't know if the camera's picking it up. Maybe that's a little better. It's kind of darkened the paint right there. It's kind of grease from people's hands, and over the years it's kind of turned dark. You could probably take a magic eraser and clean that up, and it would probably clean up pretty good. But, well, like I say, I like the patina, so I'm going to leave it. Alright, this side's got a big gouge right here in the side art, a little gouge right there, and like something had been riding up against that. I'm not sure what caused that. Probably when it was being transported, it was probably rubbing up against another game. That's usually what causes that kind of damage. And then you got a little piece right here that's kind of missing, where something hit up against it. A couple little pieces here. So it's not perfect, but all in all, the game is in pretty decent shape. Like I say, I've had it 20 going on 21 years now. The guy got it from, I don't remember if he said how long he had it. The neat thing about it is the side art here. That looks like an X-Wing fighter from Star Wars, for sure. And this right here, the bottom part with these pieces up through here, kind of resemble the lower part of the Starship Enterprise. So back in the day, they were taking the cues from the sci-fi TV shows and movies, and sort of that was kind of an influence to a lot of the graphics that they use on the games. So I also wanted to add in another little comment here that I did a little research, and I looked up Gorf on the Wikipedia page, and it states, and I don't know if it's a true fact or not, but you know how I was noticing that the ship on the side art as well as in the game sort of kind of resembles the Starship Enterprise? Well, the note in the Wikipedia said that the game designers were originally trying to tie this game in to Star Trek the Motion Picture, and but after they read the script, they couldn't really tie it in. But it did make a note that the ship does resemble the Starship Enterprise, and so that's another Star Trek tie-in. And everybody knows I'm a Trekkie, and I like anything that has a Star Trek tie-in. So just another little fact that I uncovered. Yeah. Okay. Well, that pretty much does it. That's my Gorf. Oh, okay. One more thing. Let's see how many plays it's got on the meters. So let me open up the coin door and we'll get in there and we'll look at the coin meters and see how many plays it's got on it. Okay, well, let's take a look at the coin counters and see how many plays the game has. I did cheat a little bit. I've already looked, and I've looked it up and I've did the math because I'm not too good doing math in my head. So let's go ahead. First we'll home in on the right coin counter here. And the right coin counter has 3,833 counts. Each one is set for a quarter. So that comes out to $958.25. Okay. That would indicate pretty low plays, but let's look at the other coin counter here. All right, the left coin counter has quite a few more on it. It has 39,772, which equates to $9,943. So if you add them both together, if the machine was actually all these years in an arcade, which it wasn't, it's been in my possession for, like I say, almost 21 years. And I don't know how long the owner before that had it and how many plays he put on it and how many plays I put on it over the years. But if you add both of them together, it's 43,605 quarters, which comes to $10,901.25. Now, I tried to find online what a Gorf cost new if you bought it new back in 1981. I believe it's the year it came out. And I haven't had any luck finding out, but if I had to estimate, I would say the price of a Gorf was probably somewhere between $2,000 to $3,000, probably on the somewhere in the middle there, because I did find a price for Pac-Man. You could get a brand new Pac-Man back in the day for $2,400. So I'm thinking it's probably somewhere in that range, maybe a little more, could have even been a little less, but I would say that's in the ballpark figure. If anybody knows how much a Gorf upright, like I have here, cost from the manufacturer when it was brand new back in the day, leave a comment down in the comment section below, and I would like to know. Okay, well, that's gonna pretty much do it. And Gorf is pretty much up and running and in good shape now for a while anyway, until the next problem occurs. But I think I got it pretty well fixed now where I'm not going to have a whole lot of issues with it. So this will probably be the last Gorf video. I know some of you are probably sick of Gorf videos right now, but I still feel Gorf is such a great game that it deserves a little bit of attention. And certainly this machine will stay in my collection for as long as I can keep a collection together. And of course, you never know how long that'll be. But anyway, it's had a good run so far. So I'll be able to put it back in the lineup as soon as I finish working on a few more games in here and getting a few more things squared away, and so I can get everything lined back up and hooked back up and kind of get this back into a playable arcade again. So that's my goal. So now I got to figure out what I'm going to work on next. So got a few ideas in mind, so Stay tuned, subscribe, and when I upload the next video, you'll be notified and see what I decide on. Till then, this has just been another arcade fix. Have you had your arcade fix today? Okay.
Okay, player button.
Let's play it again.
My Gorf robots are unbeatable. Prepare yourself for annihilation. Stay started. Another enemy ship destroyed. My Gorf robots are unbeatable. You cannot escape the Gorf robots. Galactic Defender, you are space cadet. Scorpions, take no prisoners. Scorpion Chronicles, you have been promoted to space captain. I am the Scorpion consciousness. My Scorpion robots are unbeatable. Prepare yourself for annihilation, space captain. cannot escape the Gorfian robots.
Man, I ain't get none of them jokers. Oh, man.
Untitled Space Captain.
Come on, man.
Too bad, Space Captain. I am a Gorfian Empire.
All right.
Long live Gorf. I am a Gorfian Empire. Robot warriors, she can destroy the space product. Bad move, space product. Gorfians take your prisoners. Robot warriors, she can destroy the space product. I am a Gorfian consciousness. Next time will be harder, but for now, you have been promoted to space captain. I am the Gorfian Empire. You cannot escape the Gorfian robots. Robot warriors, she can destroy the space captain. robots. Ahead. Got you, Space Captain. Another enemy ship destroyed.
Oh man,
Light sawdust.
they're
Space
brutal.
Captain, try again. I devour coins.